Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
On the inside, you're all action because nothing impresses people like looking the part.
I want a lot of impressive sports electronics that look great on my desk, but I never use.
Crevice.
Stop by Crevice and start looking the lifestyle you wish you had. Buy medals for marathons you never ran, or a beaten-up surfboard and surf wax you'll never use, or carabiners, climbing supplies, and doctored photos of you on Everest. Plus 1,000 other stories you can tell to seem like the adventurer you are on the inside.
Crevice.
We help you take the inside outside. Crevice. Never stop pretending.
Shut up and sit down.
Welcome, everybody, to a brand new episode of Third Shift. It is episode 503. And, of course, I'm with you, Mr. Eric. And today, as per usual, we have the inglorious bastard, Mr. Matt, to help us have some fun, talk about games, talk about life, whatever the hell comes about. And, of course, with that being said, there's not a ton of game news, but we're going to make it work. But before we get to any of that, we've got to talk about the week and see what's been going on. Matt, how's the week been, game-wise, life-wise, whatever the hell you want to talk about?
I got so much stuff to talk about because one of the reasons we had to do an early show last week is because on Thursday, went out to the Wharton Center, saw a show called The Wonder Bread Years, which was a one-man show. The dude was up on stage, and it was basically just like an older dude talking about how stuff was back in the day. Kind of like fun family stories, like stuff that happened when you were a kid, and kind of meshing it towards like, this is what happened when older folks were kids, but we all kind of had those same kid-type experiences. I mean, until you get to like iPad kids, because I don't know about that. But, you know, stuff that would happen, family members, extended family type of humor, just fun stories and stuff. And me and all the really, really, really old people in the crowd were laughing and having a good time. So that was fun. Very next night, back to the Wharton Center, took Mom out to the Lansing Symphony Orchestra Masterworks concert. Last one of the season, not of the year, because the season starts halfway through the year. You guys know, because you've been listening to me talk about theater and symphonies for forever. And it was a great show, a phenomenal show. What could be one of the only problems at a Lansing Symphony Orchestra show? Hey, they had a debut piece by the composer in residence. I was happy because it was his last piece. His tour has ended. His watch has ended. This is the last time I have to deal with this frickin' guy. And they said to him, they did like an interview beforehand, and they said, well, the one rule we had was like, make it emblematic of your time here with us. That's the one thing we ask is your final piece. Make it like the story of you with us. And he went, okay, so my piece is, I had like an episodic dream one night, and I thought, I'll do that, but with music. And I will give him some credit, because Mom said she liked it more than any of the other stuff he's done. And I'll agree with that, but I have not liked anything he's done. So to say I like this 10% would be an improvement over anything else. But it was, you know, I could see the episodic part because there's like different types of music, different themes, different waves that it went through. But every single one of them crescendoed into this discordant nightmare of sounds before it went to the other thing for a little bit and then back again. So I don't know what the hell is wrong with this guy. He also did this weird thing where when you're in orchestra or a symphony, nobody cares, but I'm going to explain it. You sit two people per music stand. Like there's a person kind of on the left and on the right. You play together. But when they did his piece, the person on the left and the person on the right played different music for a lot of it. So like out of the first violins, there's two different musics coming out of that. So like you kind of can't tell what's going on because your brain is hearing two different melodies out of that section. And the second violin, same thing. And the viola, same thing. And the cello, same thing. And the bass is same thing. So it's like you're listening to two symphonies performing different music at the same time, and it didn't work. It doesn't work. There's a reason you don't do that. It was horrible, but it was better than the other things that I've heard. Anyway, next day, went out, and I did a 5K, my third 5K of the year. Get used to me talking about doing 5Ks, folks, because they're only ramping up from here on out. But it was the best time that I've done so far, so I'm happy about that. It was a nice, rainy, cool day, so it was perfect. You know, it didn't get too hot or anything. Like, I'm afraid of some of these summer 5Ks. I'm going to sweat myself to pieces. But that was fun. Very next day, went out to East Lansing Art Festival. I had one goal, which was to buy a plate because I have like a bowl that I use every day that I use a bowl. I have a coffee cup that I use every day. Got those from the art festival. I'm like, all right, I'm getting a plate. That's the one thing I'm here for. No frickin' plates through the whole thing. I guess I should have known. But it's always fun to go down there. I just walk down there from Mom's house, see all these different things, paintings, sculptures, art, jewelry, all kinds of crazy stuff. So that's a lot of fun. Then on the video game front, I played the second closed beta of 4-Loop. Well, the second closed beta, part 2 of closed beta 1, whatever it is. And I checked the NDA before I started playing, and it says you can't talk anything about it. And I said, okay, fair enough. I talked about this last week, but I'll just say that I played it, and I can't say anything about it. And then the closed beta was over, and they've reiterated, you're not allowed to say anything about it. Everybody's still under NDA. And I went, okay. And then they stopped saying that. And then today, right before I left work, on a day when I do a podcast with my buddy Eric and I talk to you people, they dropped another thing that said, hey, remember, don't say anything about the beta. And I thought, somebody knows. Somebody squealed. Somebody knows that Matt does a podcast and he's in this beta. Now, I will say, I do understand it, because beta is beta, and the internet is what the internet is. So if somebody had a rough time in the beta, they're going to go on the internet, and then everybody who sees that person's rough time is going to think, when the full game comes out, like 18 months later, they're going to go, I heard it was blah, 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 blah. That's just what it is. So I understand why you don't want people talking about the beta, because if they have problems, that's all people are here. But what if you had a great time in the beta? Wouldn't you want people to be able to say that? But now nobody can say anything. So the only other game, no, that's 2 other games that I played, but the other game that I played a little bit more of Shadow of Mordor. I'm almost to the end of it. I'm trying to power rush through the end, not because I dislike it, but just because I'll save that for the What You Playing. There's some I want to mention in an article that I read that applies to me. I'll save that for the What You Playing, but I will say Dead as Disco. Played a whole bunch more of that this week. The game is so much fun, but I only play it in a very certain way. Like when I did my first, run of it, I tried the boss a couple times and died, because I just wasn't used to it. And then it opens up the skill tree and it goes, hey, skill tree here. You can get yourself another hit point. You can get yourself another finisher. You can upgrade your fury gauge so you can do that more. So you can upgrade your attack and make it easier. And as I looked at that little skill tree, and it's not a big skill tree, but it's, like I said, noticeable upgrades to your ability to survive the stages. I looked at it and I went, I don't want to upgrade myself. I don't want to make it easier. And so I played through that stage some more over this past week, and I got to the boss, and I got him halfway, and then I died. And I go, okay, I'm going to restart the stage now. And I did that a couple times. And then I went, okay, well, I'm not getting much further on that boss. When you die to the boss, you do have the option to restart from checkpoint, and it restarts from the start of the boss fight. So I did that a few times, and I beat the boss after I think 4 or 5 times doing that. And I went, okay, well, I did that, but I don't want to have beaten the boss doing that. So let me start that stage again and finish it all on that one life. And I restarted, I think, twice more, and then I got it. And I went, okay, cool. And then there's a little itch, scratching at my little brain here. It says, but could you do it hitless? And I went, no, that's too much. You're going too far. But for some reason, this game makes me want to play it on a little self-imposed challenge mode. I guess because since everything goes to the music, it tickles the rhythm music part of my brain. Like if you were playing Guitar Hero, you wouldn't want to unlock a bunch of stuff like, oh, you can skip 3 notes, or you can make notes easier to hit, or you can whatever. I don't know, because it's so rhythm-based, I'm like, I don't want to be powerful and make it easier. I want to just do it at the base and get through these stages. And I don't know if I'll stick with that, but that's how it felt right. It felt good. Plus, there's only 4 stages and 4 bosses right now in the early access version. So if I just powered through that and went, oh, I did all the content, I'd feel a little, I don't know. I don't know. But the game is phenomenal. I love it. I was never frustrated doing my little challenge that I've been doing. The game is great. It's fun. It's a ton of fun. And that's what I did this week. Did some real life stuff, some video game stuff. I feel like there's other games that I played, but I can't remember any of them. So why don't you tell us what you've been doing, Mr. Eric?
Well, I went and saw Mortal Kombat 2.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, indeed. I went to the theater and I saw Mortal Kombat 2, and it was fun. It was great. It was what I needed. It was what I wanted. This is not a movie of the year. It's not anything you're going to go, oh my God, but it was just a fun damn time. and they had all the stupid levels like you remember from when you was a kid. They had the acid pits, they had the spike level, they had all of them. Like not all of them obviously, but they had like 5 of them in there that are very iconic with Mortal Kombat, and they had them in this. And Johnny Cage, of course, it's Carl Urban is his name or whatever. Very good, very fun. And of course, Raiden and everybody, and then Scorpion and all the characters are all there in some way, shape, or form. And it was just good. I don't know. I mean, it was just a lot of Mortal Kombat, man. I mean, the story was kind of stupid, but that's what Mortal Kombat is. And a lot of stuff was kind of hokey, but that's what Mortal Kombat is. So it just felt like I was watching Mortal Kombat in a movie theater and having fun with it. And it did its job.
Now, I'm not going to dog on you for it, but I think you talked about this last week.
Did I? Was this 2 weeks ago? Is time just going crazy? Oh my God. What did I do this weekend then, Matt?
I was lost for a minute, and then you said the stages, and I was like, I remember him talking about the acid pit. But that's fine.
Okay, well, then never mind, folks.
We're not messing with it.
I don't know what I did this weekend then. What was this weekend? I worked till 8 p.m. on Saturday.
I was going to say, was this the weekend that you got time screwed over? And that's why this weekend
this is when I got punished. Yeah. Man, so I must have not done anything this weekend. That's a sad... See, here's what's happening, everybody. I'm replacing happy times with sad times, trying to get through the weeks. So I'm like, oh, it must have been great. Man, 2 weeks ago. You're right. It must have been 2 weeks ago because I had a thought for a moment. I said, what if I could see a show again this weekend? And it didn't happen because I did nothing but work. So that was 2 weeks ago. So never mind. Nope, Mortal Kombat's dead and gone. Doesn't matter.
I'm still glad you had a good time with it. Like I'm glad that it's a fun Mortal Kombat. It's still in my memory.
I just carried it over another week. Oh my God, this is nuts. Real life, I guess. The only thing I do remember at this point is I went and saw my daughter's last band concert just the other night. So they did their finale, and they had the cadet band, regular band, and the jazz band all performed 3 songs, and then they did a whole, let's all do one together thing. So I had a fun time with that. It was good to see her, rocking and rolling up there on the stage. She got a nice, cool little award for this or that, and ended her whatever they call not middle school, but sort of middle school period, like 8th and whatever grade. They changed it all up. It's no longer like 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. So that was high school. Now it's like 10, 11, 12. So she's actually going to high school now next year. So she's moving on. And that was the end of that whole era. So good time, fun to do. And that was it in a real life front, I guess. I mean, I can't remember anything else. So it must not have been anything but work and sadness. But on the game front, I've been busy. I've been doing some stuff. I played Mixtape. All right. Didn't beat it. I was hoping to beat it. And, because it's only supposed to be like a 3 or 4 hour game. But I got to the Great Escape. You're in the shopping cart doing the thing with the cops chasing you. Mm-hmm. I think I did the next scene after that. And I think that's as far as I've gotten. So got to be getting there. Like I said, it's only 4 hours. And I think I'm an hour and a half hour in, something like that, maybe.
I feel like it's closer to 6 hours, but I'm not sure what the time frame is. Okay. It was like 2 big play sessions for me. So it could be like 6-ish, 8-ish. I'm not sure. But I did go around and interact with everything.
That's what I'm doing too, as per usual. Good. Just like searching every nook and corner and cranny before I move on to anything else. So I want to make a big push for that. But of course, I'm playing that on the Xbox Game Pass. So I can't have my usual setup going. So as per usual, after about an hour, I'm like, okay, this is great and I'm loving it. Don't get me wrong, but I need to have my stream going. I want to have my extras over here. I want to have a game up or whatever. I need my 3-screen hit me with stuff so I can just be entertained. Woo! I'm so used to that. That's rough now when it's like, nope, the Xbox is up. That's it. Because now if you got all the other stuff overlapping, you can't understand or hear anything. It's just noise. So if I get a day off, I'm going to wrap that up because I really wanted to talk about it in all of its entirety, like we said, in the What You Playing or whatever. So I'm going to make a big push for it. And I'm having a good time with it, so that just encourages me to do so we can have some fun with it, which we rarely get to do because we just don't play the same games anymore. If we do, it's always combobulated. So with that, Mixtape's been something I've been doing. Pragmata, Still making progress in that. I'm at the PlayStation 77% mark right now, so we're getting there. We're rocking out. There's not much else to say. I think at this point I'm kind of in the end game, so not much more is being introduced. I think what it is what I'm going to finish as now. But with that being said, it's still just a lot of fun, and they keep doing the thing where I got this very last upgrade that I can now go backwards and go get all the couple, there's always a chest in every last one of them you couldn't get, and now I can go on, I can finish it. So I started to do that last night, or night before, whatever it was, and I was like, all right, just going through level 1, level 2, starting to go get the last chest, and it's fun, but it's that kind of fun where it's fun for a little bit, and then your mind starts to wander, and you're like, right, either A, I go do something new, or I'm just going to turn this game off. And I don't want to do something new because I want to be a powerful, stupid dude who just demolishes the game at the end. So I shut it off. But that does kind of make me sad because I want to finish this game because I got a lot of other stuff to get to. But I can't do it. I got to go get all those chests, man. I got to do it. I got to be the most powerful being you can possibly be when I beat this. So I keep chucking through and getting those coins and upgrading everything. And that's okay. It's a fun game and I enjoy doing it. And then, of course, I put it on a game I knew I shouldn't have. I knew I shouldn't have. And that was The Adventures of Elliot, The Millennium Tales. Just straight up just snook right into a demo. Didn't talk about it, nothing happened. It just happened. And then all of a sudden, reports started popping up. Hey, there's a demo out there for this game. And I went, no, don't do it, Eric. You got too much to play. And I went, no, Eric, you got to do it. So I did it. And it's awesome. Oh my God. Link to the Past. Think Link to the Past. That's what this is. But it's gorgeous. And it's gorgeous just like Link to the Past was, but in a different way. And I'm like, oh no, I got to play this. I have to play this. This is awesome. I'm having a ton of fun with it. The demo's a great time. The story, the voice acting, the graphics, like I said already, the sound, the music, everything. It is just phenomenal. And we already suspected it was going to be good when we saw the trailers for it back in the day, but getting in there and actually playing it, you have to play this game. If you have any affinity for, Zelda-like gameplay from, back in the day, they just did it here again. They've done it. Square Enix is putting their effort in on it, and they're doing a wonderful job so far with the demo. So there it is, another game I have to buy and play. I'm so excited to add this to all the rest of them. So yeah, that got put on board. I had a good time with it. Can't wait to get back to it. And I feel like there's something else I played that I've been touching about, but I don't know. Because now I'm confused. I don't know what last week was. I don't know what this week was. I don't know where I am in time and space anymore, but we're somewhere in there. We're kicking and beating feet around. If I remember what it was, I'll jump in, but I don't want to hold the show up. So with that, I think we'll end it for this week.
But also this week came out a game that I need to play, which reminds me that there's another game in this series that I own and I still haven't played, so I need to get around to playing that before I even play this one. It's Coffee Talk Tokyo, which came out on the 21st, which is today as we're recording this, developed by Chorus Worldwide Games and Toge Productions. I'll get back to Toge Productions in just a second. Published by Chorus Worldwide Games for PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series consoles, and Nintendo Switch. If you remember, the first two Coffee Talk games were not set in Tokyo, and they were about running a coffee shop in this weird kind of like magical world where like there's vampires and ghosts and demons, but they're not scary demons. And they all come to this coffee shop and you make them some coffee or you make them some kind of drink that they would like. And they kind of talk about the problems and they talk with each other and they interact with each other about their problems. And it's just like a cozy, chill, pixel art coffee shop type of a game with interesting characters, with interesting stories. And then Coffee Talk Tokyo came out and we went, wait a minute, wasn't Coffee Talk made by non-Japanese people? And then this one seemed like a very Japanese developed version of it. Not just because it says Tokyo, but like they had Japanese voice acting and stuff in some of the trailers. Well, I found out, according to one review that I read, I can't remember where I read that though, apparently Toge Productions is a team of Indonesian devs. So Asian, but like in a completely different area than you would think. So it makes sense that their games feel different than like a Japanese game or an American game. So I thought that was interesting. And Coffee Talk Tokyo, it's more Coffee Talk. It's set in Tokyo. I don't really have a lot to say about it, But I will just say, I watched the Noisy Pixel review. They gave it like a 10 out of 10 because the person who played it really loves the Coffee Talk series. I read a couple of reviews, and the only knock that anybody can really give to a Coffee Talk game is there's not much gameplay to it. You don't get like bad endings. There's not like skill checks or anything. The whole point of the game is to just experience these people and their stories and this kind of cozy vibe world that they all live in. It's just fun. Like I said, I played the first one years ago at this point, but I couldn't get enough of it. And just, there's something about it. Like, hey, person comes in and the drink that they want already because you've met them like 3 different days. This game takes place over 15 days. So you got a bunch of different people coming in throughout your shift on each day. And you get to know them and their story. And it kind of makes you feel like you're friends with these folks. And, oh man, he's coming in. I bet he wants his matcha latte with a little bit of added honey in it. Or he wants that weird Indonesian drink, which it makes sense now why that drink was in the first game. I was like, what's this weird Indonesian kind of drink? Because it got a little write-up and it says, oh, popular in Indonesia. Now I know why it's there. But then they'd be like, nah, I want to change it up. And you're like, whoa, what's going on today, dude? Why don't you want your usual? It's just got that vibe. And there's not gameplay, but the story's there and the writing's there and I don't know, it's just a friendly type of a game when you want to relax and chill out with some buddies, play a day of a Coffee Talk game, a night shift essentially as people are coming in and talking about their stuff. It's not high stakes, it's not high risk, but it's really cool. And I won't spoil the first Coffee Talk game, but there was something that happened at the end of that, and it makes me wonder if that carries through into Coffee Talk 2 and now Coffee Talk Tokyo. I won't say anything other than that, but I was like, wait a minute. What's going on in Tokyo? Am I the same character that I was? I don't know. But if you like Coffee Talk Tokyo is more Coffee Talk. I've heard nothing but good stuff about it, nothing at all bad about it. If it interests you at all, check it out. These games are usually under $20, and it's just a cool vibe and experience. The music is always like that kind of lo-fi chill. The pixel art is beautiful. It's great. It's really colorful. It's like popping. So if you've been playing some dark and depressing games like Shadow of Mordor lately, get yourself some Coffee Talk. Have a poppin', colorful time. It's just a good game. It's a good series, and I like it. So I'm shouting it out here on the show, too.
As you should, Matt. Just like I'm going to shout out a game that has been on a roller coaster over the years. All right? And one that's typically gone down. That's Bubsy 4D, okay? Bubsy's back, everybody. Fabraz developed and made this game. It's out as of May 22nd. So as you're listening to this, you'll be able to buy it, and you'll be able to buy it on anything you want to play it on because it's on all the systems. Now, the reason I chose this title is because I, as a youngin', had many a memory playing this game, Bubsy 1 and 2, with my buddy Shay. And we had such a fantastic time with it. We loved Bubsy. We had fun with Bubsy, no problems with Bubsy. And I thought that was it. I thought Bubsy 1 and 2 were good, and people liked Bubsy, and everything was great. And then they had some bad runs of Bubsy. That happened. But then as the years went by, this narrative is that Bubsy sucks, and has always sucked. Bubsy's the suck. And we hate Bubsy. And I don't remember this. So, like, either A, I'm living in a false narrative, or everybody else created a false narrative that Bubsy's just sucked forever. Because I thought Bubsy was fine for the first 2. And then now, all of a sudden, we hate Bubsy in general.
This is another one of those things where if we jump timelines to the timeline where Bubsy sucked, I came with you because my buddy Ben and I, we rented Bubsy, and then we rented Bubsy again and again. Now, I don't think I ever knew there was a Bubsy 2, but I would have played the hell out of it because we loved Bubsy 1. It was so unique and weird and floaty and bouncy.
And he's snarky and stupid, and it was just the whole thing.
It had a vibe like a game like Uniracers, where like nobody else knew about it or played it, but we played it, and we had a good damn time with it.
Yeah, so anyway, the narrative changed over the years to we don't like Bubsy, but then this one hit as of now, as of today, and everyone's like, hey, this is actually the best of Bubsy. It's good. It's a good game. Everybody should play this 4D platforming Bubsy. And it comes back with Bubsy the Bobcat, obviously. And he's, just like he used to be, a little snarky, little this, little that. And, fourth wall breaking kind of stuff happening in this. But apparently the characters are actually well voiced. Everything seems to be good. Noisy Pixel did, however, say they hated the evildoer, the sheep, the Babbit. Because here's the deal. Guess what? The Woolies are back. The Woolies have always been here. They're taking, instead of getting the golden fleece, they're taking all the regular sheep to try to then recreate the golden fleece. But hey, guess what? That goes sideways because this faction called the Babbit rebel, But now they do come and steal the Golden Fleece because, reasons. And so now not only are the Woolies bad, the Babbitts, whom were just sheep before, are now bad because they took the Golden Fleece and you got to go get the Golden Fleece again. And Bubsy's self-aware of the fact that they've gone after the Golden Fleece many times. And, there's jokes and whatnot abound for that whole thing. So this is it. You now go on this awesome platforming adventure and go try to save the day. Get the Golden Fleece back like you always have. And I'll tell you this right now. The graphics, nothing to write home about. This isn't like this is some AAA studio making this game. It's for Braz. And but I will say this. It's modern-esque, but it still gives you that nostalgia for like old school platforming games. So it's a mix. It's a mixed bag of like, hey, okay, seems dated, but at the same time makes you feel good because it feels like not N64, but maybe like PS2 kind of graphics maybe or something. So I got on board with it. But it also, from what Noisy Pixel said, and then Nintendo Pro Life or somebody, it was some weird one. One I don't usually typically watch. It was just there, and it was like a shorter one, so I checked it out. Sorry, I'll have to go look. But the controls apparently are just what you'd want from Bubsy. Very sloppy, but tight, if that makes sense to you. Like, It feels floaty and goofy, but it feels good. It feels like it's supposed to be, and you get a lot of movesets that allow for that type of control to readjust and fix what you did or didn't do right. So you can kind of like jump backwards and double jump and triple jump and do like, the usual Bobcat where you can cling to the walls and, fix what you were screwing up. And there's a lot of leeway for you in the movement section that makes it, even though it's kind of feels loose, to get you back where you need to be and experiment and screw around and do stuff. So I really appreciated that. It didn't look like you get to play as any of the other characters. They're all kind of just, helpers in this and in comedy relief and stuff. So you will be, it looks like, no one said you were playing anybody else, any other characters but Bubsy. So I guess I'm fine with that. I kind of expected, though, with this whole cast and crew that you'd get levels to be the different individuals with different skill sets, but apparently not, which is also fine. Be focused, do something right, and don't screw it all up. And with that being said, Noisy Pixel actually gave a knock to it for being too short, which I think is actually a plus. Because if you actually enjoyed it enough to where you're like, I wanted more, and I'm mad that you didn't give me more, then that's kind of like, hey, you did a good enough job where I was having fun and wanted to keep playing this game, and you ended it earlier than I wanted you to. So if you really want a short game and have a good time with some old school platforming, Bubsy 4D apparently is one you're going to want to check out. And I can't have more games, but this is really something I'm interested in now. And I was when it was first announced. I think I said it on the show at some point. Interested in seeing if it turns out good or not. And apparently it did. And now I'm like, damn, I want to play this game. So if you want an old school 4D platforming adventure with a snarky, goofy little Bobcat man, this is it. You like bad guys that are sheep? This is it. We've played another game with sheep as bad guys.
That's true.
All right. And it was a great game. This might be it.
I'm in the same boat as you, Eric, and I don't need more games. Obviously, I talked about a game I need to play as Coffee Talk. But I read a review of Bubsy 4D here, and it was a bad review that I read. It was one outlet that didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
But everything they said about the game made the game sound good. It was just that they didn't like it. And I was like, man, after reading a negative review of it, I went, man, that sounds fun. That sounds like one of them games that like a Matt game. Like other people can hate on it, but this sounds pretty damn good. So I was walking around at work. I was like, man, I can't deal with another game right now. But Bubsy 4D sounds pretty damn good. I'm going to have to get it.
And it's super short, apparently. So it's like, this is a doable weekend game like Mixtape.
Mm-hmm.
Could pop in, get in, have a great time, call it a day, bam, bam, bam.
What could possibly go wrong? You know what? If you don't love Bubsy, you don't love Coffee Talk, you don't love the Bubsy reference that I just made, go check out some free games of the week. Go over to the Game Pass, because this is a game on the Game Pass that went live, I think, at the time of the last episode, or maybe just right after it. Subnautica 2. You can get in on the early access for Subnautica 2 via the Game Pass. So go in and play it right now. Eric, light your eyes up and be like, man, I could play that too. Right after I'm done with Mixtape, I can get into some Subnautica. And I'll be like, you played Subnautica too? And you'll be like, yeah, brother. I extended my Game Pass for 6 more months to play some more of that. That's what you're going to do.
Definitely not.
But if you're not down with that, you can get Forza Horizon 6, the latest big Xbox game, the latest Forza shiny hotness, driving around with a car, looking at amazing things. I actually got the scratchy itch on that one. I was like, oh, I should download that and play that. Even though I'm not a driving sim guy, I've never been a Forza dude, play it for free, scoot around Japan in a cool ass car. Why not do that? But if you're not down with that, go play Remnant 2. Finally, maybe actually make some progress in that game.
I'm telling you right now, Remnant 2, I do nothing but think about. And I think this game scared Matt a little bit. I think this is why we quit. I don't know, for whatever reason, this one spooked Matt a bit, and he kind of jazzed out of it. Because I love it. I have nothing but love this game since me and Matt played it. And it was because Matt got busy or did something, and then we stopped playing. But I don't know. I just feel like maybe something was scaring you off a little bit. But God, I missed that game. I loved it. The puzzles, the bosses, it was incredible.
I think the only thing about it was I got that kind of weird feeling like Ghost of Tsushima kind of gave me of like, this is a hard game, and like we can't drink beers and play this game. There was no middle ground. You couldn't get rolling and have fun because you'd get rolling and then go into the wrong biome and we'd get stomped.
Well, you'd eventually go into oblivion, but I thought it was great because like one night you clutched up and then two nights I clutched up.
Yeah.
And so like at the end of the day, I have obviously my two memories of when I clutched us, got us through it while we're drunk and being stupid, and you completely just zonked out. And, and I'm sure you remember your night when I was the one buffooning about and you made it through the maze or whatever. It's like, I like that. I understand that it's a balance, but I love the two memories of that boss fight. I just literally did solo because you just were not understanding anything. And I just did it by myself. I'm just laughing and you're just watching me do this entire boss fight and I'm just drunk and oh, Jesus Christ, man, I wish you were dead. Woo! Oh my God. Go ahead. Yeah, come on, don't die. Oh my God. Jesus. That's fun to me, but I do get what you mean. Like sometimes you get embarrassed the next day, like, oh man, I was a useless idiot. Okay, well.
Well, and especially now, I would have no problem now because I could never become a useless idiot anymore because of the situation as it is.
Yeah, you can't do that period anymore.
But then I become the try-hard man. I'm just like, focus down,
and that's your nature. That is the problem.
That's the problem,
you do that. Yeah. You get mad when we don't perform if you're not, so that's why Tsushima did stop, is because you're like, oh, I've eased up, guys, and now I really want to actually be an ace. And we're like, nah, bro.
So it feels like it could be a not Eric's day off the next day type of game.
Just me and you play for an hour, and that's a normal night.
Yeah. So I agree with you because it just feels right. When I saw it on the Xbox little thing there, I went, I just let out a sigh of remorse for what could have been. Because this was like Outriders, but good. That's not. I don't mean
Outriders
that.
Outriders is still great, man. I love that game. That was fun.
That home base crew just has an Outriders feel, though. I could tell something about
Jenny and Howard in there just having a blast. They were just living their best lives in Outriders.
Oh, brother. Okay, we can't go too far on that. But Remnant 2 is there, a fantastic game. We should play some more. Also, a game I'd never heard of, Luna Abyss, I think dropped today on the Game Pass. I don't mean about dropped, but it's accessible today on the Game Pass. And this looks like first-person shooter Returnal. Like, it's exactly that. Bullet hell all over, but first-person perspective. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. I don't know anything about this game. I just watched the little trailer today right before we recorded this, and I went, oh, that looks cool. I'll try that for free on the Game Pass. Thank you very much. And then also, Game of the Year 2026, or whenever this game dropped, and from then till the future, my friend Peppa Pig. Get yourself in there, have yourself a piggin' little time with Peppa, a little British piggy. I think she's British. I don't know. Every successful cartoon is some kind of foreign accent now. Bluey's Australian. Peppa Pig, I think, is British. There's got to be a French one. Not Pepe Le Pew, but like newer than that. There's got to be like a French mouse or something. But go play them Game Pass games. They're free. Go have fun.
And while you're doing that, get some more free games over on Epic. They've got Down in Bermuda. And if you didn't know, this is a fun little adventure game. You're a pilot. You get stranded in the Bermuda Triangle. Now you got to, for the next 15 years, you're trying to navigate these islands, fighting these monsters, trying to get off and figure out through puzzles and whatnot how to get off and get home. So there you go. That's what that's all about. It's got like some fun, colorful little graphics going for it. So just go check it out if you want to. And then last but not least, you've got the Tomb Raider Remastered series available to you. It's got Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3 all remastered and looking all pretty and as sharp as it can be for an old PlayStation type game. So if you want to experience the OGs of Tomb Raider and get in on it, now you can for free over on Epic. And of course, with that, that doesn't stop it. Amazon Free Games is also here with Space Grunts. Don't know what that's about because I didn't do the due diligence on these ones. And Palindrome Syndrome, Escape Room. It sounds probably what it is, escape room game, okay? So if you wanted a cool, fun escape room game, you're looking for that nice little weekend thing or day, night thing to do, there you go. And last but not least, you got Hot Brass. And I imagine you're just taking control of one of them brass instruments and you're just going to town on it and turning that thing to fire. That's what I'm imagining. You're just boop, 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 playing the keys like that, boop, 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 and it's falling down super fast. And they got some crazy animations of you on that brass instrument having fun. Or it's either a shooting game where it's hot brass, like guns, and then brass like coming out of the gun. That's the violent thing. You could go with that, but I'd like to believe it otherwise.
I did do my due diligence, but I'm just going to leave it. I'm just going to leave it because I love hot brass. It's like melting down the instrument with your fiery playing. But the one thing I will say is we talked about last week, we couldn't tell you about the Epic games. One of them was the Batman Telltale series all packed up together. If you got that for free and you've never played that series,
it's amazing.
Play that series. It's so cool. It's so good. And it's such a different spin on the Batman, like mythos and characters. That's all I'll say. No spoilers, but really cool stuff happens in that game. I really loved my time with it on freaking PS3, 80 years ago that we played that? Holy cow.
Yeah, I don't remember if I ever finished it.
Oh, you got to finish it.
I don't know
dude.
if I ever got through. I got through 1 and I think 2 for sure. I don't know if I ever finished it though.
There were only 2, the 2 seasons.
Okay, then I probably did. Okay, never mind. Shoo, then I did. Good.
Going into the news pieces now, and I'm going to tell you, I called it, folks. I called it. Eric called it. We all called it. The entire internet called it. Quantic Dream, one of my favorite developers of all time, the Heavy Rain dudes, the Beyond Two Souls dudes, the Indigo Prophecy dudes, all the crazy stuff, all the crazy David Cage games. They were working on a multiplayer game called Spellcasters, some kind of subtitle, I don't remember. If you remember a couple months ago, they talked about they're also working on Star Wars Eclipse, the next big Star Wars game. And they said if Spellcasters doesn't work out, NetEase might pull their funding from the studio and we might be in free fall. And Eric and I both, and you all the listeners went, that's going to happen. Well, guess what? Spellcasters, which has only been in early access, is getting shut down next month. I think the 16th, something like that, of June. Now, I put a frown on my face and I put it up on Blue Sky. I said, well, I expected this, but we'll see if the other shoe drops. In the announcement, they said, no, Star Wars Eclipse is unaffected, but we are going to fire a bunch of people. So I don't see how you can have A and B. That's not how that works. I also heard as part of this news, like a French gamers union is really coming down on Quantic Dream for this whole scenario. They kind of went a little far on it, saying like, this is completely unsustainable. What a bad decision from the jump, which I sort of agree with, but you can't say that after the fact. Like, oh, they've wasted 5 years of development on something. That you can't say that. But then they were also saying, why don't you fold these people back into working on Eclipse? You can make more headway that way. I don't know. It's bad news. They haven't said anything about NetEase pulling funding from the studio or anything, but this is that scenario that we predicted when they talked about it a month or two ago. It's happened. I hope nothing bad else happens. I hope Star Wars Eclipse goes on to be great. I hope Quantic Dream stays around and is wonderful, and they get to make another proper David Cage game again. The last thing I will say is they are doing the right thing for the consumer in shutting down Spellcasters. They said that any money you've spent on it, purchase price, microtransactions, anything, you can apply for a refund on that to get all that back. So that's great, a good consumer practice. But that makes me more concerned for them because then any money they made on it is now getting sucked back out.
It's going bye-bye.
So I don't know if this will become one of those tax situations of, we have to make no money on it. So we're going to offer the refunds so it's a tax write-off. But then once companies do that, they go out of business anyway. I don't know. But they were doing the right thing, even though it's a sad thing. And hopefully it doesn't lead to a sadder thing for me.
Yeah, we already know. This many years with nothing on that Star Wars game? No. This thing's troubled. Something's going on. It wasn't coming together. I don't know what the story is, but I just feel in my bones that this thing's a dead project. Just like so many other Star Wars games have been over the last freaking 7-8 years or whatever. It sucks, but it is what it is. And of course, speaking of end of eras, man, it's an end of an era for another game. Destiny 2, as of June 9th, is done. It's over. There will be no more new content. They will not be actively working on this game anymore. You can still go play it. You can still go have fun in Destiny 2, but there will be nothing new. No one's working on it. No one's touching it. They're working on a new beginning, something brand new, which, of course, everyone's got their fingers crossed for Destiny 3, as do I. But it's going to be, I think, years before we really see much on what they're doing, because right now a lot of them are so focused on, making Marathon a success and working with that game. And it has a base. It's not gone where they were hoping, as it's already been talked about, a bunch. But they have a base, and the base is very, very adamant that this game is actually really good. So I think they're going to stick with this one for the next year or two. And that means that half the crew is basically going to be busy doing that. Once again, I think with that being said, you're not going to see anything on whatever it is that they're doing new for many years. So I just wouldn't plan on hearing from Bungie for a bit. Unless you're excited about Marathon and want to hear what, their updates on that are. So farewell, Bungie. Farewell, team. I look forward to seeing what you're doing besides Marathon in the next 3 to 5 years. And in the meantime, I have a million other games to play, so whatever.
And this wasn't on the show notes, but you talking about Star Wars games and not seeing many Star Wars games made me remember that in my PC Gamer magazine from last month or whenever it was, they did a big spread on Star Wars Zero Company, which is like a Star Wars XCOM type of a game that's coming out. It's by, I think, Bit Reactor, and it's either Respawn proper or people who have worked with Respawn before. So like one definite big hitter company. And that PC Gamer article made it sound really cool. Like you go and you can free roam between the missions, and then the missions, it's like XCOM style, like moving units on the map, percentages to hit, people having overpowered skills to overcome the XCOM-iness of it. So you mentioning that made me think, oh yeah, there was a Star Wars game I was actually excited about that I heard details on. It was that one, Star Wars Zero Company. Go check it out if you haven't heard about it.
And getting excited, Matt. I don't have the deets, but I've got the rumors and everything else. A game we were all excited for years ago, and I bought a year or two ago at this point, Witchfire.
Oh yeah.
It's finally about to be in 1.0 apparently, in sometime this year, from what I'm hearing, the rumors and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't wait. I will finally get to play it. Well, I could have been playing because I've bought it and purchased it and can get in the beta or whatever it is. But I just didn't want to. I want to just play it when it's actually done and it's a game. So I bought it to support it, and then I've just let it sit for all this time. Apparently, pretty soon I get to actually play it in 1.0, and I'm like, wow, I'm stoked. It's finally, maybe, possibly here. God bless Witchfire.
And that's one of those games that, even though it's just been in early access, everybody's been loving it. Every single time it rears its little head and people talk about it, I swear I've seen articles where it's like, this feels better than most finished games that I've actually been playing the last couple of years. So people are hyped for it. I remember Knowable did like one stream of it where it looked pretty cool, but like obviously it's been 2 years since then, so it's even been getting better and better and better. So I can't wait for 1.0 on that one.
Oh yeah, I'm very excited myself. And the other little tidbit I had for today, folks, that you already probably know, but in case you don't, that's what we're here for. Sony has announced that its State of Play is going to be on June 2nd, which is right before, of course, the Summer Games Fest and all that other shenanigans. So we're about to be in that time frame of all the gaming news, of all sorts of exciting broadcasts and shows, etc., etc. And they said for sure you're going to hear a whole bunch about Wolverine, so you can look forward to that if you're looking forward to Wolverine, which for me is a mixed bag. I am, but I'm not. Yeah, we've talked about it on the show before, so I really hope that's not all they do, and there's a bunch more to be shown. I'm sure there is, but still, I wasn't like super stoked when it went, oh, and we're going to showcase like a whole hell of a lot about Wolverine. I went, okay, I guess, cool. But it's coming, June 2nd. So there you go.
It's something else that's coming this summer. This also isn't on the news piece, but I talked to Eric about it via text. Summer Games Done Quick, the Summer Speed Running Marathon, is coming July 5th through 11th. Obviously, they benefit Doctors Without Borders as usual, but they put up the whole schedule of all the crazy speed runs they're going to be doing, other than some bonus games or like extended blocks where, you know, if you donate extra, then they'll do a run of this game. And some of that stuff is crazy. Some of the times are crazy. There wasn't like a big one that jumped out to me, but there were a lot of small ones that I sent to Eric, like Resident Evil Requiem's getting a speed run, Pragmata's got a speed run. There are modern games, there's retro games. It's funny scrolling through, and then you hit like the extreme retro block where it's like Commodore 64 games, and you go a couple more days, and then it's like the horrible games block. You're like, oh my God, oh, they're going to play that? Oh God. So it's just crazy. From top tier to bottom tier, from the garbage pits to the AAAs. They got all kinds of stuff for you. And if you don't like speedruns, whatever. It raises a lot of money for a good cause, and it's just fun. Obviously, I'm the speedrun guy out of the two of us, but I love putting it on. When I'm playing a game and I got to farm or, do something simple in a game, I'll put on some Summer Games Done Quick and watch some crazy speedruns down on my tablet down here.
Now, what they should be doing, and it should be on there, and if it is, I'll watch it, is playing a really cool retro game that I finally got my hands on.
Oh,
right?
nobody plays that. Nobody plays
This is a piece of news, folks. This is it. This is a big one. I went out to my local little used game store yesterday, and I did what I do every time I go there, which is pretty much once a week or once every other week. I searched through them Sega Genesis games, and I come back empty-handed every time, and Matt goes, just go on the damn eBay and get the dumb game that you want. And I say, no, I will not do that, sir. I will not. And it happened. Chikan was there. I now have, for $15.99, a copy of Chikan sitting right over there on my Sega Genesis, and I can't wait to play it. And I texted Shay, and I said, what you know about this, son? And he said, oh, my God. And then we started having this whole thing about memory lane of us just playing this game, getting our asses stomped over and over again because this game's harder than hell. If they had a Chikan speedrun, I'm going to be on board with that one. But if not, that's okay, because I'm going to sit my ass over there on that chair just like I did with Aladdin, and I'm going to play that game, and I'm going to beat it. I'm going to beat it.
And then the last piece of the show, Eric talked about it. He said it's getting to be the Summer Games showcase time. It's time for all the showcases and all the things. And the 6-1 Indie Showcase was just today as we're recording this. And one of the first things they said was, hey, we're the first ones of the summer showcases for you guys. And I watched 75% of the showcase. I have not had enough time to watch all of it, but I will say I love the vibe of this one because they showed off just lots of trailers. And usually there'd be a pack of like 4 or 5 games. And the last one, the dev would talk a little bit. Hey, here's my inspiration for this game. You'd see the trailer. It would jump back to just 2 fellas in an arcade talking, just like 2 cool dudes. They'd set up the next block of stuff. Bam, right to trailers. It just flowed really well. I enjoyed it. There wasn't too much talking. There wasn't too much host like dorking around or anything. If you're not into indie games, this probably isn't for you. But if you are into indie games, or if you're just one of those people that I see in every comment section of like a state of play or whatever, and they all say, oh, all gaming is the same. All gaming just feels like the same thing. Watch this showcase because you will see some graphical styles. You will see some gameplay styles. You'll see some wild stuff. And maybe it won't all be for you, but like a lot of these things I was going through, I was like, man, vibes. I will probably never play this, but this trailer has got me feeling in a mood. There's a game called Merkborg Heresy Supreme. It was colorful. It was gross. It was brutal. It was strange. I was watching it on lunch and my jaw fell open. And I went, what? And it was so colorful and weird. It's definitely not a Matt game. I don't know. It just looked so cool. I literally wrote, yo, what? As my one note for it. Because that's how I felt watching that trailer. But there's a million things. Like I wrote down a million things out of here. I'm just going to pull 2 things. Let me find 2 things.
And while Matt's finding us 2 things, I didn't get to watch this at all. I'm going to now. I probably wasn't going to originally because I'm not the big indie dude. But I went over to Game Informer and cheated. They just put up a few hours ago an article. So hit up Game Informer if you want to see it, saying, hey, here's like 10, 11 things that we just really stood out for us at this showcase. And I just scrolling through it, Blue Ridge Hunting. This like low poly, hunting the Mothman game looks awesome. That's right up my alley. The horror, old aesthetics, old graphics, I was like, man, that looks cool. I should check that out. And then Feather's Edge, a Metroidvania. I'm always interested to take a peek at a Metroidvania and see what I think of it. So this was one. And I'm like, oh man, this looks cool. I want to see the trailer for this.
You got to watch the trailer for that one because it's so freaking cool because the movement, the way you move and attack in that game, like you launch yourself.
Okay.
Pause and then you're like, ping, ping, ping. It's so cool looking. I mean, they started with those 2 games. Mm-hmm. I was writing down like every single game they started with. I'm like, they're starting so good. And that was one of them. You got to check that one out.
Awesome. And then the last one before Matt goes on is the Midnight Horde. I just looked at this and read the little sampler about it. And I'm like, oh, that sounds really cool. That's once again, that looks right up my alley. So just in cheating and not seeing anything and just going to that site, 3 games already. I'm like, man, I'd like to see more about those games. Damn it. I should probably watch this showcase. So don't let it slip by.
Definitely don't let it slip by. And here's one. I know it's on that webpage. It's Blocks for Babies. Go watch that frickin' trailer. You will not expect what happens, but I'm going to spoil it right now. It starts off, you're like, oh, you're babysitting. What do babies love more than blocks? Baby loves playing with blocks. And then it shows like the baby on the side and you're playing Tetris. You're like, boop, boop, boop. What if the blocks don't cooperate? And it jumps into like you're at the top of the well and now you're seeing the blocks front on, but you have a gun like you're in frickin' Doom and you're like shooting these blocks and they have faces and you're like ripping them apart and there's guts and things. And then the kid jumps back in, like, what's going on? And then it goes like Balatro, but it's Tetris. So you're getting upgrades to how the blocks work, but you still have to go into weird Doom mode. This is what I'm talking about. Like, you got to watch some of this stuff because who would have ever thought of that? If you're the Call of Duty gamer, you didn't know games could do weird shit like this. It's freaking crazy. Another game that's crazy stuff. Oh, God. I could talk about so many of these things. One that really jumped out with me was one that had a dev talking about. I think he was a Japanese dev. And he said, man, check out my game Rain 98, where it's going to give you psycho, lo-fi, 90s anime vibes, where you make a pact with this girl to destroy the world. And I'm like, yeah, cool. Sounds awesome. And then it went in and it was full on anime graphics. It's a visual novel, so it had like the visual novel feel to it. But then at points it would break and the graphics would get all messed up. It had a feel of like Doki Doki Literature Club, kind of twisted. Like, is the world twisted? Is she making you screwed up? Is she altering the world? It's a short trailer. Most of these trailers are under like 90 seconds, but that one just like hooked me. Like that vibe of like, oh, cool, anime. And it started out like in 4x3, old school anime, like I love to watch, like we watched when we were kids. And then it moved down into 16:9, and then stuff got weird. So there's 1,000 more things in here I would love to talk about, but go check out this showcase. 60 some games in 90 minutes. You'll be blowing through all kinds of stuff. If there's a game that bores you, 90 seconds later, you're going to see a different game. So many vibes, so many unique graphical styles, so many cool presentations. Go check it out. I'm not even done with it. There could be a really killer one right at the end, but I've already written down like 47 games and I can't buy more games. But this got me excited for games. Not that I'm never excited for games, but like it got me excited for games again. Small games, indie games, weird games, strange games, beautiful games. Woo! Video games. Come on.
Video games are cool, Matt, and that's why we have this podcast and talk about them, because we like video games.
That's
Hooray!
right. And another thing we like, things we love more than life itself sometimes. It's Uncle Matt's Trivia Corner. If you remember last week's question that I gave Eric 45 minutes to answer.
Yeah, okay.
It was Jacqueline Natia was the main antagonist of which iconic 1996 action platformer? That, of course, was Tomb Raider. That's that card done. Now, for this week's question. Coffee Stain Studios are most famous for creating which 2014 simulator game? And simulator is in quotes.
I'm not going to know this one. But I'm going to pull something out of my butt. I'm going to do it. Coffee Stain 2014 simulator in quotes game.
We have talked about this series before. I guess I shouldn't have said series, but we've talked about these games before.
Yeah. It doesn't help me. There's too many.
That's true.
Too many simulators. There's just a million of them, literally. I can't. Doesn't pull nothing. Coffee Stain is the only thing I'm going off of. It's like I have a memory of Coffee Stain in my brain anywhere. Coffee Stain simulator. 2014. Quite a long ways ago. Which is crazy to think about. 2014.
Before the show existed.
Yeah. Before the show existed, simulator. Coffee Stain. Oh. Nope. I'm not going to pull this one. I'm going to pull road trucking. Road trucking.
You wouldn't get it, but you might kick yourself for it.
Ah, yes. I wouldn't have got to it, but duh. No shit. Dang it.
Somebody who listens to the show likes the series. That's all I'll say.
Loves that series.
That's a tease for that man. Maybe he'll get it, maybe he won't. But if you know the answer to that question, send it to us via the email, thirdshiftme@gmail.com, on the Twitter machine @ThirdShiftME. Find us on Facebook under Third Shift. Hit the Discord. Hit the Patreon. If I'm streaming like I should this weekend, even though I got another freaking busy weekend, so how could I ever do it? Hit up a stream. if you see me at the office and we're at the area where it says recording in progress, make a lot of noise in that hallway. You and me we'll get wild, and then I'll have to run away, and you'll be there because you don't work there, and you can be the one who gets in trouble. But I can't do that because I need my job. But you'll just be a visitor. So it's fine for you. They'll just go, who are you? Oh, just leave. Whatever. It's fine.
Indeed. You can do all that, or you can head over to Patreon, throw us $1, $2, $3, any kind of bucks. You guys know it all. It's a tip jar. Anything you do helps us out, keeps the lights on, paying the bills, doing all the good things that we need to make the show. If you got no bucks, you can go to Spotify, you can go to Apple Podcasts, you can go ahead and throw some 5-star ratings, get us higher in the metrics, or you can go to Discord and join on in and have some conversations, have some fun with us, interact. And on top of that, throw in mailbag questions, which we'll put on the show eventually. It'll happen. It'll be a thing, and it's going to be great. All that helps us out, and we appreciate the holy hell out of it.
Absolutely, we do. And we, of course, appreciate you listening to the very next episode, which will be dropping on around the 28th of May on iTunes and Stitcher, on Podbean, on Spotify, and on YouTube. And as I always say, hey, if you like what we're doing, you'd like to help us out, please give us a like, a rating, review, a comment, a subscription, any kind of good thing on any one of those good services, because it does help us out. We really do appreciate it.
We do indeed. Just like we appreciate them 5-star reviews. And I'll tell you what, I will give you in detail the sadness that I go through when I go to the air realm in Chican, if you give us a 5-star rating. All right, I'll tell you about the most embarrassing things, because I'm gonna fail, I'm gonna suck. But if you don't, I'm gonna lie to you like nobody's business. I'm gonna lie. I'm gonna say I beat the shit out of that game, and I had a great time with it, and you guys will never know. You'll never know. You'll never know. But if you give me a 5-star, I'll tell you the truth. I'll give it to you. Did I actually get through Aladdin like I said I did? Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Y'all will never know. You don't know. There's no way to tell if I'm telling you the truth, if I'm beating these games on the Sega Genesis like I say I am. Huh, crazy.
I was going to save it for after the show, but Eric doesn't even beat games in modern life. You can't beat retro games too. You know, you never finish any games. What are you talking?
Do you know?
Come on.
You don't know.
We all
you
know.
Have no idea.
We all know. Come on.
Games I've played a million times when I was a kid. Do I still got the skills to beat them like I did?
No, none of us do. None of us do.
Oh, I don't know. You know, I can tell you the truth, but I need to see something from y'all. So until you do, I'm not going to tell you the truth. Full of lies.
And with that, there's nothing else to say. But
Shut up and sit down.